네, 안녕하세요.
Welcome
금요일 분석
to
데스크
Friday
시작하도록
2020
하겠습니다.
LCK
반갑습니다.
Spring
김민아입니다.
Split
오늘
Analyst Stats.
와디드님 그리고 리라님 함께 할게요.
Once again, we'll be joined
안녕하세요.
by Wadid and Lira for this analyst stats.
네, 시작부터 정말
hosted by
화끈한
Mina Kim.
경기가 펼쳐졌습니다. 하나생명
What a game
압도적인
for
플레이를
game
볼 수
number one,
있었는데
Hanwha versus
이게
SKT or
세트의
T1.
압도적인 플레이였다고 말해도
Set
과언이 아닐
was
정도로
dominating
활약이
the whole
대단했어요.
game.
먼저 뱀픽 얘기부터
So let's
들어볼게요.
talk about
네,
the
뱀픽
draft
얘기에서
first
이제
hand.
하나생명이 세트, 럼블, 이제
Like
시너지가
Esports,
좋은
they had a
픽들을 1, 2,
very
3에서
good
뽑으면서
competition
그냥
with
전형적인
high synergy
LCK
between
뱀픽을
Set
했는데
and
역시나
Rumble. Very
하나생명
LCK
4호에서
style.
팬분들 저희 하나생명입니다. 다이애나 쉔을 뽑으면서 약간 뭔가 역동적인
However,
뱀픽을
they
보여줬습니다.
added Diana,
그에
Shen,
반해서 이제
adding more
T1은
spice.
저는
Bit of a
솔직히 요즘 T1의 이미지가
less
확실하다고
LCK
생각을
style.
하거든요. 페이커 테디 선수를 필두로 한
T1,
후반 한타가 정말
they had
강하다고
the
느껴지는
focal
팀인데
point on Faker and Teddy
아트록스와
focusing on the
아펠리우스가
mid
둘 다
and late game.
AD잖아요.
However,
그렇게 됨으로써
Aphelios and
약간
Aatrox,
중후반
they
한타
all
이미지도
do
뭔가
attack
좀
damage,
희미했고,
so they had less power
전반적으로
in terms
뭔가
of team fight and also
픽들에게서
damage
의미를 좀
balance.
볼 수가 없었다.
So,
그런 느낌을 좀 받았습니다.
There weren't really a huge or crucial point in terms of the whole SKT or T1's draft.
후반부터 압도적으로 시작을 했습니다.
Hanwha had a very promising performance in the beginning of the game. So
그분이
let's check out the
하신
first
장면이죠. 네,
highlight.
아무래도 탑에서 초반부터 라인전을 그냥
Top lane.
해버렸죠. 아무래도
Juve
지금 요즘 세트 모데카이저
was
매치업이 정말
dominating,
많이 나오고
starting
있는
from the
상태인데
lane phase. We've seen a
자신이
lot of
있으니까
set games so
서로 이런
far,
매치업을 뽑는
but we
거거든요.
could
네.
see how
저는 이
confident
장면을
Juve
보면서
was
약간
in that
큐베 선수가
champion.
롤드컵 우승할 때 했던 약간 큐베 했다 2대1 하고
And
있었는데
Lira
이제
said that
정글까지 와가지고
he could
큐베
witness
선수
Juve
잘하는데
from
일주일
his
더 먹읍시다. 약간 이런
2017
느낌까지
Samsung
받았어요.
Juve performance, doing 2v1 by himself and winning
상대가
everything.
와서 2대1을 하는 상황이 많았는데 본인이 직접
But this time,
가가지고 막 2대1을
after
하는
winning the
장면이 상당히
2v1,
인상적이었고요.
he also had
저희
his
처음
teammates
나오는
for a backup.
장면이네요.
And
네.
this is our first
저는
mountain rift
절벽이라도 올라올
of the
줄
split.
알았는데.
뭔가 먼지 같은
네.
요즘 미세먼지 많으니까요.
아, 네, 마스크
네.
꼭 끼고 다녀야죠. 네, 손 잘
네.
씻으시고요, 여러분.
네,
Facing
저희
some of the
롤러페이가
air
항상
pollution
마스크
or
착용하고
from the
이렇게
dust
일하고
here.
있습니다.
However,
자,
this
옆에
is just
멋진
a computer
장면을
graphic.
필두로 해서
And
그리고 경기가
let's
흘러가면서
check out the second
세트,
highlight.
그리고 거기에 럼블까지 연계를 통한
Set
한타
from
장면이
Juve
아주
dominating
인상적이었어요.
the
이거는
game,
뭐
had a lot
질
of
수가 없는
control
한타?
in the team
약간
fight
그런
as
느낌이
well.
들었는데 사실 처음에는 아니
There
저걸
was
저렇게
no way
들어가?
for Hanwha Life to lose
저걸
this team
저렇게
fight.
들어가?
This could
약간
be
그런
a little bit of a
생각이 드는
bold
진짜 완벽한
engagement.
한타가
However, they had a perfect
요즘 제가
combo to
생각하는
engage
4대
on
사진 챔피언이
the
있거든요.
players.
올은 아펠리오스, 럼블, 세트.
Orange
아하.
Aphelios
이
Rumble
네 가지
set
챔피언
is
중에
a
두 가지가 같은
Lira's
팀에
favorite
있으면
team
저렇게
fight
그냥
competition.
어우, 답답해. 내가 벌게.
When
한
Hanwha
명이
had only
걸면
two
그냥
of that
한타를 거의
list,
이기는
they were
모습이
just
나오는
they
것
were
같아요.
just dominating the
아무래도
whole
그
fight.
중심에 있지
And
않나?
set could
세트
be
플러스
the critical
뭐
part
약간
of
그런
that
느낌이 좀
competition.
좋은 것 같아요. 세트가 확실히 정말 좋은 챔피언이다라는 게
What did wanna confirm the set is a really good
1차
champion.
경기를 뒤돌아보면
However,
세트가 좋은 활약을 보여줬던
game number
것도 있지만
match
또
number
별로 존재감이 없었을
1 and
때도
2
있거든요.
in the beginning of the spring split, set
있었어요.
was not really
확실히
that
아까 제가
powerful.
말씀드렸다시피 선수들마다 자신 있어 하는
So
매치업과
the difference is
자신
that
있어 하는 챔피언들이
player
있고,
has to
선수가
get the
확실히
matchup that the
아, 나는
player is
진짜 세트
confident
자신 있다.
with.
뭐 모데카이저
And what it could
밴을
see
하는
that how
팀도
confident
많아요.
he was
모데카이저를
on
밴하고
that
세트를
champion.
가져가는
Some of the
팀도
players
많은데,
actually
아, 나는
banned out
자신 있으니까
Mordekaiser
풀어줘.
for the
나
laning
그냥
phase.
세트만 줘.
However,
그런
Juve
자신감이
just
돋보이는 그런
let it
경기가
open, come to the draft, and he just faced it and went
네.
into the
잘
champion
봤습니다.
by himself
과연
with his
MVP는
confidence.
누구에게 돌아갔을지 POG 확인하시죠.
And this is the
아, 오늘
POG
여기 나오네요.
of
네.
game number 1.
신문물입니다. 오, 큐베 선수 안녕하세요.
큐베.
저희는 뭐 여기 가려
We've all been mentioning him
라고 하고 있는 거 같고요.
about his set throughout
아,
this whole
KD
analyst stats.
개수가 없습니다.
He had a deathless performance in game number 1.
정글까지 키워줬던 큐베가 지금 나오는 것 같습니다.
He has been
큐베가
playing
큐베를
QB1
키워가는
all
것
throughout
같다.
the game. However, he was
아니,
always
그
able to take out
코리안
one,
G2라는
walk out
말이
alive.
좀 있었잖아요.
네.
확실히
Showing
메인
why
선수들은요,
people call
원더 선수가
Hanwha Life
플레이하는
Esports
것처럼
the
약간
Korean
느껴져요.
G2.
스펠 합류도 그렇고 그러니까 전반적으로 그 앞서고 있을
Cube's
때
laning
캐리를
phase,
못하는
his team
선수들도
fight
많아요.
ability,
근데
and also
확실히
his
큐베
flanking
선수는 내가
angle,
앞서고 있을
everything
때
is
어떤 플레이를
perfect.
하면 확실히 게임을 끝낼 수 있는지
Cube
잘
know
보이는
how
것 같아서 되게
Carry
이제
every
큐베가
part of
나가는
the game.
팀은, 세트
Some of the players maybe be really strong in the laning phase, but they fail to kind of transpire into the late game.
어제 첫 만장일치가 나왔었는데
So this is our
오늘 두 번째
second
만장일치 큐베
12
선수가
votes
가져갔습니다. 이
for a
경기
player
네,
to pick the
만장일치
MVP.
받는다는 것 자체가 이제 누가 봐도 저 선수가 캐리했다.
그쵸.
되게 힘든 만장일치잖아요.
맞아요.
그리고-
제가 투표를 했어도
Everyone voted for
선수에게 했을
Cube as the POG here.
저조차도 네, 느낄 정도로
If
클레버의
Ubina
엄청난
wanted to
활약을
vote
만날 수 있습니다.
vote for
이제
Cube.
경기 함께 하도록 하겠습니다.
So let's move on to game number 2.
Thank you, Ji-sun, as always, for the wonderful translation there of the analyst desk. And seems like the analyst desk was all about Cube. And, well, he's not going to be getting subbed out or anything, but on the opposite side, we do have Kana coming in. Going to announce it a little bit early, as I suppose T1 thought maybe the reason they lost was because of Roach.
It's actually, I talked about this with Atlas, and I talked about it a lot when I'm doing co-streaming for NALCS, and even LEC, but I can't co-stream that. It's always so insane to me when players will look at clearly losing lines or losing spots, and then not attribute that to the end conclusion. They'll say that, oh, well, I could have played better. Well, yeah, sure, the Mordekaiser could have beat Set in that lane. Mordekaiser could have killed him, maybe even, in some scenarios. Maybe a different player would have beat Set by 30 CS or something like that in a different game. Doesn't change the fact that Foundation's flawed.
Yeah.
So, the responsibility on you is higher, and the ask out of you is higher. So when the opponents have less going on, less to worry about, less things to focus on, and they're more forgiven for more mistakes that they're allowed to make, there's a problem. So start by fixing that instead of the other things. You look to prevent problems, not fix them.
Yeah. I mean, I still feel like there is a long way to go, though, when it does come to fixing some of the draft issues that T1 has had here in Korea. So we'll see what happens here as we are going to hop onto the Rift for game number 2. Maybe we will see some change-ups here. Of course, Roach didn't have the best game in the world, so I do understand why they do want to give Kana a chance. But again, we'll see if this actually does help them in terms of the game. As T1 this time around will be on blue. And they're going to take away that Diana. They say, well, we're not really happy with the way you guys use that in tandem with the rest of your champions to go for that kind of wombo combo-y style. Very quick bans coming in here. Rumble also taken away, so they're really just saying, okay, you need to play something relatively new here, Homolite. Can you do it?
Well, Set gonna be... Alright, he's gonna be B1. 2 range champions coming in on Hanwha Life now. Can they continue to draft in a way that makes Set get neutered in the draft phase? We'll see if that's gonna end up being the case. Gragas is gonna be locked in for T1 along with MF. Rise, this is starting to look bad.
Yeah, you think so?
It's starting to look a bit worrisome.
That's more range coming in there for the side of Hanwha Life.
More champions that don't really build HP, but then in addition to that, they're very mobile. They have lots of CC, lots of things to kite with and whatnot, so Syndra gonna be banned away. Now, we don't know if the Rise is gonna be mid or top lane. It's likely going to be mid lane. Lucian now gonna be banned away. That is mostly for Set.
Yasuo Gragas denied alongside of all of this. Can go all AD with the Gragas
Yeah.
going AP.
And then that actually does turn him into a pretty scary champion. The opponents don't build any magic resistance. Gragas has really good dental hygiene. I just want to point that out.
And he's very white teeth.
Yeah, extremely pearly.
His beard is
very
also
straight too.
flowing, and there's no curls or clumps or anything like that. He
is-
must use some really expensive conditioner.
I do think that he's metrosexual.
You think
For
so?
sure, yeah.
Wow.
I mean, it might be. I think he really takes care of himself.
I can't deny that. It's very obvious there from his splash art.
Vayne.
Yeah, Vayne comes in.
Ooh, this could be... It could be a flex with Aphelios and Vayne, where Aphelios actually goes top lane. The Shy has actually played that a lot. He's actually been streaming on Twitch TV these days. I do know that Aphelios versus Set does favor Aphelios. Could also just be Vayne against Set.
Yeah.
Obviously, very slippery, even if Set lands the suplex. Doesn't mean that Vayne can't continue to outplay him. And now, looks like T1 is trying to... Okay. Cassiopeia. Now, I really like this. There's a lot of short-range champions on the side of Hanwha Life. But if they get a mage support, yes, there is a lot of AP on their side, but it would really hurt T1, who are also sort of short-range. So Cassiopeia comes in here as an AoE wave clear type of champion against the enemy team composition, not against minions.
Yeah.
And so the Miasma and her ultimate, very effective against what Hanwha Life has drafted. You can also see Faker taking Cleanse currently, respecting the Rise Rune Prison as well as the Elise combo.
Mm-hmm. So you feel like overall this draft, a bit of improvement compared to Game 1? So even if we're not 100% of the way there?
T1 has a lot more leg room this game, but they have an equal amount of way to just lose complete control if Hanwha Life gets going.
Sounds shaky.
I would still favor Hanwha Life in the draft, so this is definitely not a very comfortable position. If you're a T1 fan, you're down 0-1, you're watching this. We're going to have to pay attention to all of the lanes. Faker is going to have a lot more control this game, though, and the Cassiopeia is one of the core pieces of this team composition. So we'll see what he can end up doing with it. We'll also see how well Kana can fare up in top lane against Cuvei's Vayne, and Vayne is not a champion I think of when I think of Cuvei. That is not
that is
one that I would associate to his playstyle.
A bit strange to see him on a champion like that, but I suppose they say you had a good game in game number 1. You were able to mechanically outplay your opponents and just outplay in general. So maybe you could play the Vayne. He's an R player. They don't play exactly the same, but he has played stuff with some range in the past. As it looks like we're ready to hop onto the Rift for game number 2, T1 on blue up against Hanwha Life Esports on red. And in we go into the jungle here for T1 potentially. Setting up in the Pixel Brush.
Oh, Spider will end up finding Gragas.
They're going to use that opportunity after seeing the Nautilus to move on in, get some deep vision down. They know it should be, at best, 2v1 for the blue team. So easily able to plop that one down. Probably going to go back by a scanner. We'll have to wait and see how this does help out Hanwha Life early on.
Well, looks like Cuz is going to be starting on his red buff. Now, what is your favorite set skin? Oh, Kana, actually, gonna go in mid lane, and I really, really like this. Set can actually beat Rise in laning phase.
Yeah. And
especially in mid lane. The proximity to the turret is going to be very good. Now, Faker against Cuvei, this has given me Summit versus... I don't even know what kind of vibes. You know, the discrepancy in mechanical skill.
Summit versus Valdez in the top lane.
Valdez. Come on.
I mean, obviously, I'm the winner there.
Don't undercut yourself that much, you know?
Yeah, you know, it's the one thing I got going for me. I got some good mechanical skill, but I about an IQ of 60 of how to play the game.
Okay.
And that's why.
Is that a Dolphins IQ?
You know, I don't know. I know they have pretty high IQs, but I don't know if it's as low as a 60.
Yeah, I don't. All right, well, it's a very big trade by Vista and Lehens.
Vista.
Vista?
Or Vista.
Vista. Okay. I'm going to call him Windows
No, it
Vista.
doesn't sound very good, actually, now that I say that.
That is very obnoxious. Aladios doing a lot of stuff down here in the bot lane.
That's what he's known for, or so I hear.
Yeah. Missed a CS, though. I'm not impressed right now, but...
Speaking of CS, 5 CS right now for MF.
And, okay, Lehens and Vista being a little bit aggressive. Gragas is in close proximity, only has 4 camps right now. Elise gonna get the left-hand side Scuttle Crab right now. Cuvee could, had he done this correctly, he could have crashed this wave and recalled for free. And he could have picked up a call. But because of the speed at which he's doing it, and because he values his HP and his mana, apparently he's now going to be delayed. So the 4th wave is arriving.
Oh, he's going to get that big lockdown on Takana, but the double in there. He is going to be able to flash the cocoon as well and gets away scot-free. Did have to blow his flash, whereas on the opposite side now, both Elise and Rise have their flash. So a follow-up gank could be deadly on that side. Seeing a bit of a roam up here now into the Scuttle Crab with Rise backing. This should be T1's. That does come in, miss on the dredge line. We will take this one away. No Seal comes in. You guys might have been watching Faker CSing up in the top side and wondering why he was missing a bunch of CS. It was because he did not know exactly where Elise was, and he saw that the Bloom plans was taken away up on the top side. So he had to essentially desperately push the top wave back and try to deny a dive. Ended up missing a couple of CS for it, but it was the safe play to go for. At least didn't end up going for the dive, but still the right thing to do. Meanwhile, we do have another response swap coming in here, as Tempt is going to go up to the top lane now with Bane going mid.
Yeah. It's definitely a nice play here by Hanwha Life to reinitiate this lane swap. And Cuvee now in mid lane. Just with the Doran's Blade still. Kana does still have his teleport available, so we'll see what he's actually waiting for. As Tempt comes in there, knows where Kuz is, but he's going to end up losing his control ward.
Lehens sticking by the mid lane. Kana does not have flash.
Oh, it's just going to proc the Demolish and then leave, I think. Well, it doesn't actually get it.
Interesting.
Not totally sure.
Latios, a lot of responsibility now. He has to 1v2. It's a lot to handle.
Yeah. Lane state's okay. Faker 15-3 on Cassiopeia.
In the LCK.
I mean, it's okay. You know.
Yeah. And it's
5-1.
Yeah. You know. I've had better with 3 games on a new champion or something like that.
Yeah. Makes sense, yeah.
Jonah Strong having a fun time switching around all the names. Thank you for that.
I actually really like that.
Good observer.
Yeah.
LCK observer, best observer. Don't at me.
Also, Murktread's first item here for set. Talked about before about how the mobility can help him actually convert into more damage. As Hanwha Life now, they're going to be the ones that pick up the Cloud Dragon. Faker and Set, well, Faker and Kana, I don't know why I said it like that.
Yeah.
Threatening a dive, and it's really scary. The suplex into the miasma, there's not really a whole lot of response the opponent can do, and Cuvee going to get zoned off this entire wave. So this is the exact kind of thing that T1 needs to be doing.
Now, the response here is going to be a potential 4-on-2 dive in the bottom side, but it is read well by the side of T1. So they're going to back off of that bottom turret and deny a dive coming in from Hanwha.
Also, they got those plates. And now Cuvee trying to walk up. Has those tier 2 boots, the Berserker Greaves. XP point. You can see Kana. Yeah. And I mean, almost Faker is leading, but yeah, Tempt up there. And look at Cuvee. He is down in the dumps at 6.5. So Faker and Kana, very comfortable advantages. Effort hooking onto the turret, making his presence known. 3.5 minutes until the Infernal Dragon. Predator Boots completed for Gragas.
Yeah.
And so, if this game continues to go super even like this, the Cassiopeia can really go off in the mid game, and for Vayne to not have really accrued any advantages for herself, it's not a very good feeling. And so T1, at least at this stage, are in a pretty nice position as we are beginning to transition. They should actually be in the driver's seat to get that Infernal Dragon once it ends up spawning.
Yeah. I do like how they should have known that the enemy team was doing the Cloud Drake, and this is something you've mentioned before a lot, how the individual Drakes are not that strong, especially compared to the Souls. You can kind of just give up the first two if they're, if you don't feel like they really benefit your team all that much. And have to hold that thought as Faker not wanting to go for a flash just yet. He's going to hold on to that and goes in for the ultimate instead. So it was a bit of a game of chicken. When was he actually going to throw that one out? Ends up being able to save his flash and his cleanse by throwing that one out right at the end. But yeah, just T1, they give up the Cloud Drake. They get a bunch of other advantages with the plates up on the top side and denying Kive a bunch of XP. And so now, Hanwha Life trying to get on top of this Rift Herald. And Shelly has been started here. Cuz and Effort look like the only two that really are attempting to punish this or fight at all, as all 5 members were coming in there. Lahan's level 5 now. We'll see if he can get out of this one. Rakan pretty squishy at this time, but is able to just head out as okay, bullet time. Not going to be enough to take him out. Lahan's, keep in mind, still had flash. So kind of desperate attempts to take out a Rakan. That was really just never going to happen.
Yeah. At this point, though, Effort and Teddy, they're going to be able to crash this wave. 1 minute and 30 seconds until that Infernal Dragon. And Cube trying to do whatever he can to try to chip away, but Hanwha Life not accomplishing all that much in recent moments. Teddy, okay, it looks like Teddy and Effort probably going to stay for 2 more waves, and then they will reset. So the wave that is passing the inhibitor right now is likely the wave that they ideally want to stay for, but Effort might die.
Yeah, building up a ton of those random stacks and is able to put down the turret now. Effort in a lot of trouble. Is going to get the knock up into the turret line. Nice little escape there out of a very unfortunate position. Does have to blow his flash to get out of that one, but Vista is denied the kill.
And now Haru up here in top lane, 1 minute until the Infernal is coming up, and Teddy's actually locked into the lane, and so now the Rift Herald being spawned. This is going to keep him locked here. Gragas, Faker moving over to the top turret. We'll see how many turret plates can actually go down. Cuz does not have the cask available yet. And now Hanwha Life, they're going to back off. They're going to, I think, just rotate straight to the Dragon. And I like what Lahens is doing. This is really subtle, but that is guaranteeing a very strong slow push into Hanwha Life.
Yeah.
Because it's making the minions bunch up in closer proximity to the reinforcing minions. And so as the minions just sort of do their own thing, barring some freakish RNG, it's going to very slowly push back into Hanwha Life. And so now Hanwha Life gets the Dragon. They get to return to a freeze in top lane in a really good lane state.
Yeah, it's definitely a very good point. I'm glad you did mention it. We used to see that in the bottom lane on the first wave a lot of the time, so you guys might be familiar with that tactic from the start of games in the bottom lane. But either way, we do have this fight over the Infernal Drake now. T1 doesn't want to give it away without a fight. Look at Lahens' position, though. Coming in from
Mr.
behind.
Cocoon.
Yeah, and he's going to be spotted here, so T1 able to turn onto him at a moment's notice, but the Drake is going to be started up.
Okay, Elise is losing a lot of HP, though.
That is
Aphelios with the... Oh,
there
my...
it is, the massive root onto 5 of them. That's the first kill. Big bullet time comes in, though, and the cast is going to get everybody low, and even Gragas is going to pick up the smite onto that Infernal Drake. Everything turning on its head. Even after that massive root, too much damage coming out of T1.
So, T1 were in a losing situation, but then Lahens goes super deep into T1, but no one can actually follow up because Cassiopeia And then Cuz manages to get, watch this one more time. So Aphelios gonna get the massive AoE, Cube ult, gets hit by Nautilus, and then everyone stops doing the dragon. Why? It's at 1400. They could have just gotten the dragon and then Rise ulted out. Or tried to run south away from the T1 members. So, a little bit of poor execution out of Hanwha Life, but a good capitalization on that mistake by T1 nets them the leg up in this situation. They also get themselves the Infernal Dragon, so big victory for them. Also, Kana, a bit of a savant, building the Trinity Force.
Ooh.
On set.
Literal savant over here in the top lane. We all know that's what LSs do. And, yeah, he's doing pretty well in terms of farm as well. King of that, though, is Tempt in this game. As, yeah, it was a bit questionable. You know, you could have just tried to zone them out, not take the fight. There's a lot of game-changing ultimates on the side of T1, namely the bullet time, the cast that comes in, and the suplex actually to push Lahens out of that fight was pretty flashy as well from the side of Kana. Denies that engage from the Rakan, and they're able to pick that one up. As you mentioned, you know, that bit of damage that Elise was taking on the Dragon, it ended up being extremely important in terms of the way that the fight went, because Elise died and wasn't able to smite the Dragon. And so the Infernal did go the way of T1.
Yeah, it's actually a really good breath of fresh air if you are a T1 fan in this game, as things are really going well off of the lane swaps, and then obviously that very big victory around the Dragon for them. It's quite nice. XP points, you can see here. Tempt still in the lead, actually, by quite a lot on this Rise. Also has quite a large CS advantage. That's what is keeping the gold score as close as it is.
He's done the most PvE by far in this game. As, yeah. That looked cool, guys.
Yeah.
That looked cool. That's all I'll give you. But most of the time, Tempt has just been sitting in the lane and farming up, mostly in the mid lane. He looked like he was more than a level ahead even of Faker, so looks pretty good for them. But now T1 on the forefoot is going to be able to pick up Shirley. They're looking to potentially push the top lane, but nobody's down here on the bottom side. And so you might just have a trade of pushes potentially that do come in. No plates anymore. So would expect to see at least that bottom turret go down. T1 gonna say, sure, you can have the bottom side. We'll push in the mid lane. We have Shirley, and they're even looking for the engage here. The big burst damage onto that Rakan stood absolutely no chance, but effort on the backside, this is threatening him. Not going to end up mattering as the push continues from
now,
T1.
Remember what I said last game?
Oh, I remember.
Taking an inhibitor this early. Now, okay, the correct play is actually to back off, not take the inhibitor. Valdez. Hold my hand.
It's a miracle.
Oh my God.
We can now transcend together. We were here in this moment. The teams did something right.
Get me the
for
wet
LS.
tissues. Now, if you're wondering this, and you're thinking T1 are being stupid for not taking the mid inhibitor, you're wrong. So, the reason that you would be wrong for thinking that is the super minions would then come out, in every single wave, Hanwha Life would get it, and T1 would not. And so, for all of the time the inhibitor is down, that is just gold and XP only funneling in to Hanwha Life and not to T1. That's why this early, when your champions only have 1.5 core items, you can't really team fight if the opponent doesn't allow you to and there's not something to force it. And so having one lane permanently deactivated due to super minions is way too bad at this stage. So, really good decision to see them not stick around for the inhibitor. Here we go.
Trying to force this one on a Faker. They might just be able to do it. The Seraph's going to keep him alive, though. And you see Haru just hesitating there for 1 second too much, and Faker is going to be able to get out of that one. Had to burn Cleanse and Flash to get away.
I want to give a little caveat here. You ready?
Okay.
I like how I like the parallel here about how you won't take the inhibitor. They recognize that you don't take it because you would be giving away free gold. When you free side lanes due to a surplus of minions.
Okay.
A similar thing can be achieved.
Wait, what? What do you mean?
I'm kidding. I'm lying.
Oh yeah, he must be lying. Likely sinning is LS.
Likely story, actually.
Yeah. Okay, Kana.
That was really interesting. Kana's going to have to flash.
Yeah.
But using the
Awkward
Condemn
position
to knock Set backwards as he's able to be displaced while doing the Haymaker. It's like something out of a superhero movie. Now, also, I really like the Oblivion Orb on Gragas here. Mostly because you look over at Hanwha Life, no one's really building magic resistance. You have Merc Treads on Rise. But outside of that, Gragas now...
Hey, QSS.
Okay, well, that's Rakan.
Yeah, I know.
So,
I'm just trolling you.
I get it. It's alright.
Yeah.
I'm just teasing.
That's what I'm
It's
here
fine.
for.
So Gragas, he currently has 33 pen. And I actually forget what rune he took, whether he has Sudden Impact or Cheap Shot. But if he has Sudden Impact, he actually has even more pen than that. So when we pan over, hopefully, to some of the Hanwha Life members in a second, at the bottom left, you'll be able to see their magic resistances. And remember, Gragas has 33 flat. At this point in time, any day now, we're gonna click on a Hanwha Life champion.
No.
Just give it a second.
How about no?
We're gonna pan to Elise.
JPG.
We're gonna pan to Elise here in a sec. Give it a sec.
I don't know about that.
Hold on, slow down there, Valdez. Don't jinx it.
Okay. Oh, I guess we do have a lot of
Don't
time.
jinx it. Okay, Elise. All right, we're gonna go to Aphelios. And
Right?
what are we looking at?
We have a lot of time because these...
All right, Rise. Okay, now, see, he's the one with the magic resist. I swear they're listening right now.
But he has 72 LS.
Stop.
Obviously, the penetration won't
All right,
work.
there you go, 35. 35 Vayne. Almost true damage.
I didn't see it. I wasn't looking.
Okay, well, Vayne has 35 MR.
Okay.
So, Gragas is basically dealing true damage to Vayne. And now, if Vayne had 39 or more MR, you'd get Void Staff.
Take a look at this play. Suplex into the turret. He might die here, as had to go into that one. Considering a dive, that is not going to happen. And, well, now we got a big rotation coming on in. Because he's a fast boy on that Gragas. Thinking about it, they got some really low members here. Teddy on Vision. And they decide... How about no?
They played that really safe T1 to, despite how low Temp's HP was.
Oh boy, look at the damage coming in from Vista.
I like
Stacking
Effort.
It up.
Effort kind of looked like me when approaching Aphelios.
Yeah.
Like, actually, what do you do? What is that? You know, you're going to mutate right in front of me?
What are your abilities?
Yeah, what's going on here? I was very impressed. Atlas sounded like a thesaurus yesterday. He knew all of Aphelios' combos and...
Yeah. That was really impressive anyway. Hey, I know Crescendum.
Yeah, I know Gravitum.
Gravitum, that's the rooting one, right?
Yeah.
Then there's Severum? Severum?
Yeah, Severum.
Right? Isn't that like the lifesteal guy that you can like lock on to... attack stuff, I think.
Okay.
It's one of them. Okay. So we got 3 out of 5. That's good enough.
Now, all right, so...
That's passing.
When
60%.
you get that quiz... Oh, look, free! The entire wave could have been killed.
Yeah.
That
Especially
was a
because there
freeze.
was a cannon there. To
Yes,
make it
there was a
even.
cannon.
Yeah, especially...
Which means that Rise has to walk up. And if that wave dies, there's no tier 2 turret in top.
But then Hanwha Life's gonna get the Baron. No, LS, they're gonna take the Mountain Drink. You don't know anything. Okay, here we go. Trying to root him down. Kana in a lot of trouble here. Is gonna be pushed down through the ultimate. Doesn't matter how much grit he's got. Going to be taken out 3v1. As there was really no vision, actually, in that blue side jungle for the side of T1. And so a very sneaky maneuver there from the side of Hanwha Life to make that happen. And they're sticking around, but it looks like T1 have called their bluff, and they say, you guys are probably still all here. The miasma is perfect. It's going to deny everyone, as no one is getting out alive. I feel like I've seen this movie before. Cube in a lot of trouble. Nicely done there, but it doesn't matter. Triple kill going to the side of Faker, as he is now 3-0-2.
And now that is going to be the Baron getting picked up. Now, is Kana going to teleport to the Dragon and stop Aphelios? Or it looks like he's actually just running there. Now, is there a blast cone behind it? No, there's not. So I don't know how he's going to get over the wall. Is he going to flash for this?
Well, he needs vision first. And now he's just running around, so no flash.
I actually think it's worth flashing for it. I think it's worth flashing for it.
It's not 100% that you're going to get the kill, though. Oh, we always like to watch... Okay.
I like it.
I feel like I'm watching LS's stream.
I feel like I'm watching a good player, is what I feel like. Let's do this. Let's try this. Let's do this.
Oh! That was fake.
I like it. I like it. There's no conversation. Nothing needs to be said or relayed. This is the ideal mic check that I like to listen in on.
Yeah.
You can also see the F key usage. Some people, they'll say that it's spam. It's not spam. You just have to get adjusted to it. There's never too much information. Cube is...
Effort missed his dredge line, so he couldn't get in range. He didn't have his ultimate anyway.
I mean, his armor weighs a lot. You know, he didn't quite know.
Yeah. Big dredge line.
He's got the stone plate.
Couldn't handle all that weight. Oh, by the way, big pickup here for Gragas. Morellonomicon going to deny all of the healing that
I was having a really good time this game.
Life.
Until you just said that.
Big item purchase here for the side of T1. Going to help them on their push. Cuz an absolute monster now. And speaking of monsters, the Baron push is actually monstrous. Coming in here, they're going to be able to pick up 2 inhibitors likely. Amalite don't look like they want to engage here at all. Turret comes out, bit of chip damage, but nobody's really looking to engage in any capacity. Rise getting there late, as they were essentially giving away those 2 inhibitors. Decided that they were not going to be able to fight. So it does go down. Uh-oh. 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 Faker. Oh, no, not like this. Yeah, he's dead. Nice try, buddy. But that's what happens when you delay your back. As it looks like he poisoned the ground. And that's something you do. You can cast some spells to build up Seraphs, but his Seraphs was already built up. So I'm not really sure what the idea was there. Perhaps he was pressing too many F keys, LS. Maybe a little bit distracted.
No. Did you see Tarzan's flash yesterday at Wraiths?
Yeah, that was nice.
You like that?
Yeah. Maybe he was pressing too many F keys.
Maybe, perhaps.
Yeah.
Perhaps that was
nobody talks about the detrimental effects of F keys.
Yeah. It's one of the unsung things here in esports.
Yeah.
All right. So
now you'll see he casts his poison. That means his back is late.
It's really weird, actually.
Yeah. His Seraphs was already built.
Yeah, what he was doing.
He already had the spear at max.
Yeah. I'm not sure what...
It's either habit or he's talking or...
I think he's building Morello. Now, you see...
Yes. Yes. Elise has it too, by the way. We all know that Gragas with the stealthy. You gotta deny that, okay? That's a lot of damage.
Elise should actually have Leandri's, because the way that fights are led up to is actually just by poke.
Yeah.
Via Aphelios and via Spiderlings.
Imagine the value.
And so, yeah, Leandri's with Runic Echo procs on multiple targets. Now, it would be a disaster if T1 loses a team fight and a backdoor of Vayne and Rise is actually the way this game gets stolen from them.
Could absolutely happen. We've seen teams that are behind or are just doing this kind of split push with the Rise and a top laner that has TP. We've definitely seen this before in a lot of games, even in the Kespa Cup. And it's something you do have to respond to. It's not to be taken lightly. They can push extremely fast, and the 2 of them together are amazing, not only in 1v1s, but obviously in 2v1s. are going to be able to take you out. But for now, all the focus is onto the Mountain Drake, the third one of the game, and it will be the third one for whichever team does take it. Looks like Hanwha Life say you can have it. It's not the Dragon Soul Mountain Drake. We are going to push a side lane.
And
Infernum was the fourth one. That's his
there you go.
snowball,
You got
fiery
that,
thing.
yeah.
I thought it was like snowballs at first, but apparently it's fire.
Trying to end.
Yeah, they say enough of your split pushing shenanigans.
Enough of the smoke and mirrors, as Vista, he took quite a bit of damage, but they're going to repel this. And as it stands right now, actually, the level advantage, there is one in mid lane, but Teddy, two levels up.
Look at this. Double TP, and T1 are calling their bluff. Immediate back here from Rise. They say, you want to TP out? Fine, be our guest. We're going to push on in.
What is Lehens doing?
Lens, that is really not where you want to be. Now this makes this a 5-on-3 rather than a 5-on-4. Miasma comes down. T1 are pushing in. They want to end the game. Can Hanwha Life repel them here? The engage onto Vista, but he's still alive. In comes the recall, but it doesn't look like it's enough. Vista and Lehens desperately trying to stop him, but it looks like the Nexus is one more hit away. Just auto it, and down it will go. T1 able to call the bluff of Hanwha Life and take game number 2.
That happened.
That did happen. That was a
that-
good way to end the game. Very happy.
All right, Lehens had a very off game. I don't know why the camera...
Yeah, they're like zooming in on the winner.
Yeah, that's a little strange. But T1, they walk off stage. They had really good lane swaps to stagger the advantages that Hanwha Life would be looking to achieve early on. And then through that, they also managed to have that very big victory at the Infernal Dragon. And then they managed to have that very big pickoff in top lane, which converted into a Baron. And so we got to see some of the weaknesses that could have ended up coming out, like obviously the inability to respond to split push.
Yeah.
And also team fighting even can be a little bit dicey if T1 are the ones that have to go into Hanwha Life, but it never really got to that stage.
We forgot to give the MVP vote. Any thoughts? I'll give it to Faker.
Yeah. I'm gonna give it to Faker.
Poor guy's waiting there. He's like, come on.
We had to say.
Darn global casters. Never paying attention.
Well, you can take a look at the gold graph right there. Never quite cracked 5,000. And it was starting to go down, but, I mean, set was a non-factor in this game, 2.6k.
We never really had a fight where we did anything.
We didn't have
We never really had a real team fight.
No, we didn't. We just had the thing at the end. So that doesn't really count with all this.
Yeah.
You know?
All the fights were just Hanwha avoiding them or getting caught by trying to go for their weird split push strategy with the Rise and the Vayne. There was never really like a 5-on-5 that did break out. There was the early one near the Dragon, but too early to really make too much of a difference.
That was really catastrophic because it was a Dragon that Hanwha Life should have been able to win, and it was a fight that was looking pretty good, but T1 stabilized. They were cleaner at many parts.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking better there in game number 2. We're T1. We're going to have to see what happens in game 3 after the break.
정풀 볼게. 얘네 너무 나온다. 이거 한타각 봐봐. 얘네
네, 낙한 큐, 낙한 큐.
가비.
나간 더블 봤어.
맞아.
상태.
가자 미드 가자 이거 미드 가자.
아 가자 미드 가자.
여기 미드로
야 이거
가자.
끝났다. 밀자.
가자.
얘네 오바 이거. 우리 이번에 집중해.
가자.
거의 끝날 거야.
거의 끝내야 돼 우리 여기서.
가면 돼. 가자. 사워 치면 돼.
낙한 일단 밀어냈고.
사워 치자.
낙한 들어오면.
사워 쳐줘 이거 나 풀고 궁박게. 사워 쳐줘.
오케이.
사워 쳐줘.
사원 왔어.
끝났어. 사워 치면 끝나.
상대 라인 온다.
끝.
라이즈 봐줘. 여기.
왼쪽 잡고.
끝.
타워.
싸움 봐야 돼. 싸움 파워가 아니라.
사워.
타워.
이겨. 오케이 지지. 이거 또 한 번 줘 봐야 되는데. 파워가 아니라.
라이즈 갈려서.